friend of mine on Facebook was seeking Jameson's help, and that's kind of when we did you did the fat adaptation program.
Yeah.
And I was like, if she can do it, I can do it, because I used to party with her, and I was like, I know what she eats and drinks,
Yeah.
because she's my friend, and she looked fantastic. She did a great job, and I thought, I can do it too. I was having some issues with my sugar getting high, and I didn't want to be on medication, and so I thought, I'm gonna try this. I started with the fat adaptation program, and I did pretty well on that.
Yeah.
We did 6 weeks, and
I think you lost, what, 20 pounds?
23, 24, something like that in the
Almost
first
25
6
pounds
weeks.
in the first 6 weeks, just with the online curriculum and my check-ins.
Yes. Yep.
Right.
Everyone in that program was offered the option to take Jameson on as one-on-one, and I took advantage of that. It takes some getting used to. He definitely has a great knowledge base and a passion for what he does and for helping his people. He takes all of what your goals are and takes them on as his own. And when you struggle with those goals, he is very good about reminding you, and he feels that with you almost, and he's just not going to let you give up. Your history shows you, I can't do this, they all fail, I'm not cut out to be thin, and he just says that's hooey, and
Yeah.
and this program, it works, and you can believe him because he's done it himself. His story is out there. If you don't know his story, go look it up, because it's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
And it really drives him to do what he does for Orion Focus.
How much weight have you lost? Like, let's talk about that.
100 pounds.
Yeah.
Plus or minus a couple.
Well.
But, and then once I hit that goal, I was concerned about gaining it back.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed on as a maintenance client. That was something I think that evolved as we kept moving forward, not just me, but all his clients.
Yep.
People were reaching their goals. Now, how do we keep them at that weight? So I stayed on as a maintenance client. I'm still a maintenance client. I still check in with him. We still monitor my weight. We still set new goals, even though I've reached a goal weight. Now, when you lose that much weight, there's excess skin, you have no muscle tone. You're able to get fit and strong now. So, and because he asks that you exercise daily on the program,
Right.
which I struggled with. The only time I want to run at that point was to the refrigerator for a snack or a drink. And that's not the kind of exercise he wanted you to do. So there's a criteria for exercise daily. It was a source of contention between him and I for a very long time. I was very reluctant to exercise, and now I feel like I can't go a day or two without exercise. It makes you feel so much better. And with the fat adaptation program and the keto diet that you're following and the intermittent fasting, it gives you so much more energy. It clears your head. It just is amazing how you didn't think you'd ever do it every day, and now that's what you want to do. You get up in the morning and that's what you do. You weigh yourself and you get your exercise done, and it's a routine, it's a lifestyle, and it works. Realize that I was until you start this program, because you're asked to really evaluate how you got to where you are and where you want to be, and you focus on those daily things. And I didn't realize that I was an emotional eater. When you listen to Jameson's story, you'll hear him say that most women, especially the older women, spend more time taking care of everyone else and not themselves. And that is a form of emotional eating.
Absolutely.
And when you start to realize that there has to be mindfulness to what you consume, the food you consume and when you consume it, you start thinking about that and looking at that. It makes it much easier to just say, I don't eat that anymore. When you start to tell yourself, I don't eat that anymore, it becomes so much easier. You're thinking about what you're putting into your body, and you're thinking about what you don't want to put into your body. And once you get adapted, it makes it much easier not to want those things. Once I cut out refined sugars and processed food, I can't eat that stuff now. I just can't. And there are cheat days, yeah. I eat pizza, but before, where I would eat 4 pieces of pizza and 17 chicken wings and 3 beers, that would make me ill right at the moment. Like, you get 1 piece of pizza down and you're like, oh, you can kind of feel it in your stomach, and then all of a sudden, if you've had too much sugar, it's the holidays, right? And I baked cookies and I was eating a cookie, and all of a sudden your joints are hurting. Like, you're exercising, you're like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong yesterday? No, dummy, you're eating the wrong stuff. So now you have inflammation back in your body. You've got, your liver has to process through all that stuff again and dump it all out and kind of start all over. So if you can just sort of stay the course and do what you're supposed to do and make your cheat days lighter, it makes it much easier to hit your goal weight and to maintain the weight that you want to be at. So when you become a one-on-one client with Jameson, there's always an interview process at first. He wants to make sure that you fit his program. Some people, you have to test your blood every day, and you test your glucose and your ketone levels. That's a way that he uses to measure how well you're doing, how you're progressing, if you've cheated, if you haven't cheated. The numbers don't lie. I'm a data person, so that kind of intrigued me. Some people don't want to do that, so he has that initial interview to be like, they're like, no, I'm not doing that. Well, then the program doesn't really work for you. The other great thing about this one-on-one coaching is that he checks in with you several times a day. It's not a one time a day and then you're left on your own. He's available. He responds. He doesn't just leave you high and dry. If something happens to come up, he is there. He'll answer you. He'll help work through whatever that problem is. That was the biggest difference between other plans and other programs. There's no real book. There's no real video that you have to watch. If you need something, you text your coach. He uses an app, so everyone is, all on the same form of communication. And it's an early morning check-in. You get up, you weigh yourself. He usually checks in at noon. How you doing? If it's a fasting day, he asks, are you staying clean? Are you still going? How's your energy? How do you feel? And then in the afternoon, he's like, what's your plan? Because he's a firm believer in having a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna just mindlessly eat, and that's what he tries to get you to not do. Sometimes at night he'll say, like, if it's a meal that maybe was a little heavier or a little lighter, a couple times he's like, that doesn't seem like enough for you. He'll check back in with me at 8 o'clock. Are you hungry? How do you feel? You didn't eat that much. So he's very, very involved in what you're doing and how you're doing it, because he wants you to succeed.